Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, how impressive is LeBron James leading the Cavs to their 13th straight win? Plus, Ray Lewis stops by to talk about Odell Beckham Jr. comparing himself to Tom Brady. And who will win Sunday's showdown between the Rams and Eagles? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. LeBron and the Cavs tied a franchise record with their 13th straight win, 101-95 over the Kings last night. LeBron was 1 assist shy of a triple-double, finishing with 32 points and 11 rebounds. He also hit 5 three-pointers, including a big shot with under 20 seconds left to seal the win. Shannon, how impressive was LeBron last night?
Very. My team is red hot. My team is R-E-D, red, H-O-T, hot. And we can't be stopped. And you need to give it up to us.
That's deep.
You need to give it up to us.
That's insightful.
You saw everything on display
I did.
last night.
I sure did.
What you need? LeBron, I need you to come up big. I need you to hit these threes. Skip, the man had Steph Curry range last night. Drain run from 32 feet, another from 29. And I know you hit there. LeBron drive the ball. LeBron said, I'm not going to do it. LeBron said, I'm not going to do it, Skip Bayless. I know what you're doing.
I did not.
I'm going to step back.
He did.
Pull up from 27.
Nothing but net.
And when a man does that, Skip, you know what you do? Coach. Michael Jordan gave that look at Portland when he kept draining those threes. That's what the defender did. You know, he went to St. Vincent St. Mary. The guy that was guarding for the first 3 years.
He did?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so he got a chance to got slaughtered by his hero.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wham!
I did.
Hit him
not
over
know
his
that.
head.
Huh.
LeBron had it all going last night, Skip. You saw that. Skip, do you know, I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if your researcher helped you out, the great Tyler Corn. You know LeBron James is shooting almost 59% from the floor? He's shooting 43% from the three-point line.
That's sensational.
So that was the
shockingly good.
Stop it.
Well, it is.
You shouldn't be shocked by anything this man does. If you followed any part of his career, you know what he's capable of.
Career three-point average? What is he?
Better than Michael's, better than LeBron. I mean, Kobe's.
Oh, okay.
Oh! I walked him into that trap, Joe. He said, I do that. I sprung that trap on him. If you watch...
Steph, Kevin. No. Okay, keep going.
If you watched any part of this man's career,
Yep.
you know what he's capable of, Skip. But you keep trying to deny him his greatness. He's moving to the right, to the left, whether you like it or not. But everything was going last night. And you're not going to have your best effort every single night, no matter what the sport. And over 82 games, that's a long, long season.
Yep.
And you could tell early on that the Cavs weren't going to be able to have their best effort. But when you're struggling and you still find a way to win, and I know what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to minimize, Sacramento. Who is Sacramento? They don't have
Joy,
anybody.
have I spoken yet?
No, you haven't. And I don't want you to speak just yet. But the Sacramento Kings are an NBA basketball team.
Oh, they
and
are?
they're capable of beating anyone. And LeBron James refused to let that happen because also he wanted to make sure he get Kyrie out of that streak. Because right now they did something like that a couple of years ago. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, we making show. We're going to erase him from the record book.
By the way, did you see what Kyrie did last night? Nobody even noticed.
Against the Mavericks?
Huh.
Against the Mavericks?
Against the Mavericks. The Mavericks, who have won 4 of 6 and suddenly have caught fire, as opposed to the 2-10 Mavericks that your team got to beat.
Hold on. But
To start the streak.
Is there different?
Those Mavericks?
Is there different Dallas Mavericks?
Right. So Kyrie scores his 7 of his fourth quarter 9 points in the last 3 minutes of the game, but nobody notices. Nobody says a word about it.
He only had 23.
And
so if he didn't score 9, he'd have had 14.
Yeah, in Boston, they were just raising the roof with chants of MVP, but nobody cares, nobody notices.
Because he's not going to win MVP. He's not even close.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Kyrie's team, by the way, is 8-0 against the West. Did anybody notice that? And Kyrie's team has beaten San Antonio.
Talking about LeBron.
Wait a second. San Antonio, Oklahoma City, and Golden State has Kyrie's team beaten. Just for perspective on LeBron, who in this streak so far has beaten, they won at Dallas to start the streak when Dallas was 2-10. They beat the Clippers in overtime after the Clippers had lost 6 straight games. They beat Memphis. You were just campaigning for how great LeBron was in the clutch after that game. Memphis had just lost 11 in a row, and now Sacramento last night.
How many had they lost in a row? If you don't
Sacramento
mind
had lost 9 of its last 13. Thank you for asking.
If you don't mind me asking, did the Boston Celtics beat any of the teams that the Cavaliers have beaten during their streak?
Sure.
During their streak.
Because they both play in the Eastern Conference.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure you...
But the quote-unquote best player on the planet is LeBron James.
Okay.
So tell me when it's my turn to go.
It's your turn.
Oh, good. Thank you very
You've
much.
been going.
My turn, Joy. Do you officially sign off on this? So that means he has to shut up?
I'm just listening. I'm all ears.
What unfailingly amuses me about LeBron James lovers and apologists and blind witnesses, such as Shannon Sharpe sitting across from me, is how they continue to leap to the conclusion, no matter the context or circumstances, to say, see, he is clutch. Did you see that last night? Without any thought for what's the perspective on it. He did what against whom? That's the big question here, because the degree of difficulty has to matter when you say he's the best player on the planet, right? And what's he in now? His 15th year? 15th year in the league.
Yep.
So I'm here to tell you, I covered Michael Jordan in Chicago, and night after night after night after night, long season, 82 games, Michael Jordan against the various Sacramento Kings would just take the game over down the stretch the last 2 or 3 minutes. And you know what people in Chicago would do? This, just like he did against Portland in the NBA Finals. It'd be like, so what else is new? Next, because it's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who was clearly the best player, not just on the planet, but in the history of the planet.
Not in year 15 he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was not, Skip.
So the point is, and LeBron's been really good this year. I don't want to take anything away from him in the big picture.
I'm not going to take anything from him, but I'm going to undermine that by saying he's not clutch. Okay.
Here we are. So last night we had, in Cleveland, the King against the Kings. The Kings? 7 and 17. And those Kings are coached by a guy named Dave Yeager, who, out of the blue, he started this player who had never started for him at all, this guy named Jakar Sampson, who did go to St. Vincent St. Mary, which is LeBron's high school, and is from Akron, Ohio. And he's on a two-way contract between the Little Kings and the Reno Bighorns of now what's called the G League. So he goes back and forth, and mostly he's in the G League. But last night, I think Dave Yeager thought at 7 and 17, why the heck not? Let's just throw him in and give the kid sort of a fantasy moment, a welcome home moment as you come back to the Akron, Cleveland area. And I'm going to give you your chance to play against the king in the king's house.
Your hero.
Jakar Sampson? Are you kidding me? So just for those who don't know Jakar Sampson's background, he did go on to play at St. John's. Didn't make a big splash at St. John's, which is why he did not get drafted in 2014. And he started his career with something called the Delaware 87ers in what was then the D League. And then he had 3 brief stops with Philly and Memphis and Denver, where he just briefly with them, and all 3 cut him quickly. And he winds up on this two-way deal. Well, actually, last year he played with the Iowa Energy of the D-League, so he has really bounced around. This is the guy LeBron James was going up against, and it was no wonder that LeBron played a game-high 41 minutes last night. Why wouldn't you against Jakar Sampson from last year, the Iowa Energy, and from the Reno Bighorns? Really?
But hold on.
That's what you're up against?
Hold on, but I thought
Help me out, Shannon.
But you just
You're
said,
gloating about Jakar Sampson?
before you went on your diatribe, you said you don't want to take anything away from LeBron, but you take it away
I said
by...
for the year.
No,
For the
no,
year,
no.
he's played great.
But hold on.
played great.
But then you question the guy that's guarding him.
Well, think about it.
But where is he now?
Out of the blue,
Where
Jakar
is he
Sampson
now?
played a Kings high, a team high, 33 minutes last night and guarded LeBron the whole game. And LeBron is saying, thank you very much. I'm taking candy from a wide-eyed baby here, because his eyes were about like that.
Can I ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking?
Wow.
So him averaging a triple-double last year against Kevin Durant,
Okay,
what did that
we're
do?
talking about, is the question about the Sacramento Kings?
The question was about LeBron James.
How impressive was he last night?
Right.
Last night.
Okay.
I'm putting it in context
Okay.
that you failed to put it in.
The context is a basketball game.
No wonder he goes 32, 11, and 9 against poor Jakar Sampson. And the shock of the night to me was that the red hot, Joy, they're red hot.
R-E-D.
Red, R-E-D-H-O-T. Can't be stopped. that the red-hot Cleveland Cavaliers, trying to win their 13th game, that with 2:23 left, they're behind to the Kings, the 7-7. How can you do that? You want to talk about playing down to the level of your competition? You're behind Jakar Sampson? Really?
Skip.
From the Reno Bighorns?
Skip. So I just want to make sure I'm correct and make sure I'm hearing you correct. So in every game Michael Jordan played, his team led start to finish.
No, but did he ever play against Jakar Sampson? Maybe he did one game, but nobody in Chicago cared. They would say, next.
Exactly.
Next.
Hold on, but so I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Well, I heard you correctly to start the show. Did you see what he did? Did you see that?
Because I want to try to bring the fans in for those that didn't see. So every single night, Michael Jordan went against a Hall of Fame defender.
Well, what does it matter? I just told you. I just put it in context.
What does it matter who LeBron did
I
it to?
just told you that night after night in Chicago, I covered the team. Nobody would care. It'd be like, bring on somebody who matters. Bring on a good team. Bring on the Utah Jazz of Karl Malone and Stockton. Then we'll get interested, because it doesn't matter what Michael Jeffrey Jordan does to somebody who comes into the United Center. Again, maybe he did play against some Jakar Sampson. I have no idea.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Come on.
Because
really?
because
Jakar Sampson, who had not started a game all year, they brought him from the Reno Bighorns just to play against LeBron?
Skip,
Are you kidding? It's pathetic.
This is what I'm seeing with you.
It's pathetic.
This is what I'm starting to see with you with LeBron.
Yeah.
When LeBron does something, you say he should. He's the best player on the planet. When he does something extraordinary, you try to undermine it by saying...
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad, because you don't know my history, my long history with LeBron on national television that started in 2004 on ESPN. When LeBron does something that matters, that counts, that has degree of difficulty, I stand up and applaud him. I've given him several standing ovations for things he has done along the trail. And it reminded me last night of one that he pulled off on May the 5th, 2015 in Chicago, because last night at the end of the game, there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Cleveland has to call a timeout. They want to come up with a play, an inbounds play. Yeah. And LeBron James, as he did in 2015, he overruled the coach's play, or in this case, I should say the assistant coach, Ty Lue, had some other play drawn up. And LeBron said, no, I want Chicago. Why do they call it Chicago? Because you remember the play. It was May the 5th, 2015. They were down 2-1 to Derrick Rose's Chicago Bulls in the second round of the playoffs. Do you remember this shot? It was a walk-off shot. It wasn't quite a three because his toe was on the line, but it was a big-time shot. Why was it? What happened? David Blatt called a play for Kyrie Irving, and he called a play that had LeBron taking the ball out of bounds, because David Blatt had little to no respect for LeBron's clutch shooting, especially from distance with games on the line, because LeBron had mostly been a disaster in his career in that circumstance. So he says, LeBron, you take the ball out of bounds. And to LeBron's undying credit, he said, nope, sorry, I want the basketball. So I want Kyrie to inbound the ball to me. And LeBron, to his credit, got mad. I love LeBron when he gets mad, because he can be a terror when he gets mad. So he took it, and with no doubt, no second guessing, no indecision, he went straight up in the face of one Jimmy Butler, who is an actual big-time proven defender, and he shot it right in his face and ripped it at the buzzer, a walk-off that evened that series at 2 games all. That's a big-time shot. Next day, way to go, LeBron. It mattered.
It was the playoffs.
Thank you.
So hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
This was Jakar Sampson.
Hold on, Skip. Hold on. I'm just going. So when Michael Jordan hitting game winners in the regular season, they don't matter. When Kobe hit game winners in the regular season, they didn't matter. Only the playoffs.
It was ho-hum. It was like next.
Skip, stop.
I was there. I covered the team.
This is what you try to do to LeBron. Oh, as long as he's not thinking about it, long as he just goes up. Skip, how do you not think about the moment? You know where you are in the game.
You know, I loved what happened last night, because when
No, you didn't.
LeBron is at his best, and I've said this since 2004, is when it's at the end of a shot clock and you take the decision-making out of it. Do you drive it? So Shannon says, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that he should have driven. No, you can't drive the ball with 5 seconds because it's inbounded to you. Nope. In this case, you're completely out on the wing. it's going to be a three-point shot. And if somebody of note had been guarding him, let's say like a Kawhi Leonard.
Like Paul George?
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard.
When he drove the ball.
You mean George Paul?
So Paul George is not an elite defender.
Poor man.
So Paul George is not an elite defender.
Say Kawhi Leonard and you got me. Throw out a Kawhi Leonard. Because they know how to play LeBron. And in that circumstance, there's only one thing LeBron is going to do. He's going to try to get you quickly on your heels, and he's going to step back and shoot the three. And he shot it with conviction. And it was a pretty shot because he shot it pure. A lot of times he's a little shaky-handed with his shot. It was just sweet as it could be, and it was nothing but net.
How is a man of 52, 53% career shooter shaky with his shot? Michael Jordan didn't shoot 53% for his career. Kevin Durant is not shooting 53% for his career.
Clutch shooting threes is not his game. What did LeBron say the other day? I am not a jump shooter.
Oh, so clutch shooting threes, is that Michael Jordan's game?
He just did whatever was required.
Okay, that's what LeBron does.
Three-pointers weren't a big deal in his time. Who is the greatest clutch shooter you've ever seen? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. End of conversation.
Because you say
it's over.
Why do you? Because
you just figure it out. Just whatever. If it's going to be a jump shot,
if you
might be a three.
That's not what the numbers say. The numbers say last-second shots. If you compare the careers and where they are right now, LeBron is a more clutch shooter than Kobe and Michael Jordan. That's what the numbers say, Skip.
They do not say that. So in LeBron's career, from distance on jump shots outside the paint, I can tell you chapter and verse of the walk-offs. He had one back in 2009 against Ronnie Turiaf at Golden State, and then he had one in 2014, the night before the All-Star break, because we took our show to New Orleans for the All-Star game, and we had a big promotion that day in New Orleans before the All-Star game on that Friday. Who's your MVP? And I had LeBron as my MVP, and he backed me up the night before because he hit a veritable walk-off shot. It was 0.2 seconds left. I gave it to him. It was a walk-off at Golden State. Now, they weren't quite yet the Warriors, but that was the year that he hit up. That's the last big walk-off, except for the Jimmy Butler.
So only a walk-off shot is to be a guy is to be given credit for. So if he hits a three-point shot with 5 seconds and they win the game because the other team can't get a shot off or they miss, that's not clutch.
Well, I'm talking about one where it's do or die, sink or swim. Skip. And if you don't get me started on his late free throws because it is a nightmare. Skip. The one place you don't want LeBron James is at the free throw line with the game on the line.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Again, you made this. You go back 2009. Try to go back.
I'm telling you, his walk-offs from distance.
The question was, how impressed was LeBron? And you try to undermine his impressiveness.
No, I'm not.
Night.
I'm saying let's put it in context. I give standing ovations to those. I gave LeBron a standing ovation after Game 7 in Miami after Ray Allen saved his whole legacy with that shot.
Okay, well, hold on. So what about the 69-point game against Cleveland? What are you putting at as far as Michael Jordan? Because that's a regular season game.
Have I ever brought it up?
Yeah.
On the show?
Oh, that's Michael Jordan. Skip.
I have not. I've never even brought it up.
Skip.
I can barely even remember it.
Here's the thing. This is what you need to look at it. Michael Jordan is great. And because LeBron James is great, doesn't mean Michael is any less great. You try to make your point by diminishing what LeBron is actually doing now by saying, Michael Jordan did this. Michael Jordan did this. This was a virtuoso. Mm-hmm. Okay. But to sit there and say you're not impressed because the man is doing this, he's averaging 28, 8, and 8 in year 15. Nobody in the 70-plus year history of the NBA has ever done that. And for you to sit there and say, well, that's not impressive because Michael Jordan.
The question was about last night.
Okay, then.
I've said several times on the show, LeBron isn't just having a good year. He's having a great year. Okay. And we'll see if he can keep it up because he's starting to struggle from the free throw line. Last night he was 3 out of 6 from the free throw line.
But what is he shooting?
He's fallen to 76%. Okay. You bet me a case of Diet Mountain Dew, it may have been 3 cases, that he was going to be 80-plus. Didn't you bet me that?
He's struggling.
So he's struggling. He's fallen to 76 after a hot start.
Okay. He's struggling from the 3, too. He's struggling from the field, too.
No, he's shooting the light. It's early, but he's shooting them.
Early, late. Hey, all I know is that I follow LeBron's career very closely for 15 years. Tell me when he's not been great.
Well, late in games, he hasn't been great. I can show
all I know.
If you want me to, I'll make a long list.
He has a better field goal percentage than Kobe. He shoots better from the 3 than Michael. and he has more clutch game winners than both of those guys. So you can talk about all that clutch walk-off all you want to. Look it up. Look it up. I have. Have you?
In the big picture here, LeBron played 41 minutes and piled up stats. He stuffed that stat sheet.
See? You
against
see what he did?
Jakar
Again.
Sampson. Well, that's what it is. Let's keep it in perspective. If you had opened with those remarks to me, I would have said, man, you got me on this.
No.
Because it was just another next.
No. What LeBron,
7 and 17.
see, here's the thing. When I'm trying to win a game, I don't worry about how many minutes I play. So let me get this right. So if Tom Brady had to go into overtime in order to win a game.
Please don't compare LeBron James to Tom Brady. Please.
Really, Skip?
It's just so offensive.
Yeah, it is. Because Tom Brady just plays offense.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did he sack Matt Ryan? But I was Joy.
5-2 in Super Bowls with 2 of the clutchest fourth quarters.
There's an outstanding warrant out for LeBron under the statute of Ohio 2907-09.
Oh, you looked that up?
You know what that is?
I bet it has something to do with public nudity.
You know what it is, Joey. I saw him last night. Streaking again. Left the queue.
Somebody Googled.
Left the queue. He left the queue.
Googled.
I know it.
Oh, that's
I know
cute.
it. LeBron, do not show back up in Ohio until Monday because there's a warrant out for your. Yeah, they looking for him. He been street. He's not hard to find. He's 6'9", 260.
Born on what?
Because it's funny to me that the Boston Celtics are still 3.5 games up on these streaking Cavaliers. That's funny.
Hold on, Skip. Didn't they win? Hold up. Did they win 16 straight?
Yeah.
But you praised Kyrie. See, this is what, and I told you when Kyrie had 47 in an overtime win against Dallas. Oh, Kyrie, the degree of difficulty. LeBron does it. LeBron dropped it. Oh, he's stuffing the stat sheet. Skip, come on, bro. Get a man his due. Give him what you owe him. Like Rihanna say, pay him what you owe him.
I'm going to pay Jakar Sampson what I owe him. Way to go, Jakar. You gave it all you had. It was your one moment in the sun, and we may never hear of Jakar Sampson again.
Hold on. Did LeBron have 29, 16, and 9 against the Celtics? You already know what he did. Oh, let me guess. Gordon Hayward broke his leg, and they were traumatized, and they couldn't play anymore.
You saw
It's funny. Hold on.
Who was ahead in that game when that happened?
Did Ryan Shazier hurt his neck, the second play of the game? And somehow the Steelers still had to play a game. On the road, Joey, and win. Oh, my goodness. But let me guess, that's different.
You know it's different.
The man paralyzed. The man was paralyzed, couldn't feel his extremities. And somehow they had to summon the strength.
Gordon Hayward has been gone for the year, and Kyrie has led this team to a 3.5 game lead over the streaking Red.
Isaiah Thomas hadn't played a game. Isaiah Thomas hadn't played a game.
Interesting.
No mercy. It's been a very interesting week for the Ball family. On Monday, LeVar pulled LiAngelo out of UCLA. LeVar had already pulled LaMelo out of high school and said he is going to get both sons ready for the NBA draft. Now Yahoo Sports is reporting an agent has made contact with overseas teams on the Ball's behalf. Turning pro would end LaMelo's commitment to UCLA. We're joined by FS1 analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris. Chris, what is the future for LaMelo and LiAngelo?
I actually think this could be a very good thing.
Really?
Yeah. For LiAngelo, he's not an NBA player at this point. So he can go over there. He may end up having a long career overseas, okay? Or if he improves, I don't think it's probable, but it's possible he could get into the NBA as a Jay Crowder type at some point in his career. You know, he can shoot the three. He is a good shooter. And if he's tough enough, because he's big, he's strong, he could maybe make the league as a role player like that.
Scenario.
Yeah, best case scenario.
He needs to be an Antonio Gates.
Yeah, I think you should try that. I agree.
His father was close to being.
Yep. LaMelo, this could be terrific for him. He can learn how to play real basketball. Because what they doing now, you know, taking 30 and 40 footers.
I thought his dad was his coach. He was teaching him why he got to learn.
He got 30 and 40 footers, playing around with the basketball, no defense, cherry picking. Overseas, he could learn how to play. Okay, now, here's the thing. LeVar is going to, and I guess it's probable he won't do this, but he has got to back off. Because in Europe, they don't play. The coaches and organizations in Europe, they have more control than in the NCAA coaches do and college teams. If LeVar starts talking trash over there about LaMelo's not playing enough, they won't get a paycheck. That's how they do it over there. And so, and LaMelo, if he goes over there, he is not going to play right away. He's not going to play for a while.
He's about to be 16. He's going to be the 13th or 14th guy.
He won't. I was over there with Brandon Jennings when he was in Italy. he at least had graduated from high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Similar type player, fancy, ball handler, cocky, real slim, just like LaMelo.
Except LaMelo's 6'6".
LaMelo's taller.
Yeah.
But Brandon, quick as he was, I sat there in their practices. He had trouble getting the ball up court against these grown men who just hounded him. And that's what LaMelo's going to find. It's not going to be the little AAU Chino Hill stuff. And if LeVar can take it and if his kids can take it, it could be the best thing for LaMelo, especially, maybe both. But if LeVar is going to get involved, they're not going to play that over there.
Are you talking Europe or China or both?
Well, I'm not sure how it is in China. I know Europe is tougher as far as, the competition and the coaching. China, I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be a PR play.
Yeah, that would be more,
Yeah.
I think for me, and I said this yesterday, Skip, it's Lonzo, it's Melo, and it's LiAngelo. One is pulling, the other is pushing. This has to be a package deal because LeVar knows what LiAngelo is. He's the Andre Empire. He's got to go into the family business. He's not the athletic one. He's not the basketball prodigy that the other two brothers, Lonzo is, and LaMelo could be. Skip, I hope this goes really, really well. But I don't feel good about this. I understand you want to build a brand, but at what expense? Are you willing to sacrifice your kids to build that brand? I mean, Lonzo was immensely talented, and you talked him up. Okay, we see that it's not as easy as you thought it was, and I don't think it's as easy as Lonzo thought it was. Because I'm sure everybody was oh, it's going to be, man, you're going to be doing this. You see how you see what you did at UCLA? Even Magic said, hey, he had the highest PER anybody in college.
Did.
Yep.
But them grown men,
Yep.
they ain't playing for books. They ain't playing for no dorm room and no study hall.
Especially when the father tells all those grown men, you ain't nothing compared to my
Oh,
kid.
yeah, my son
Right?
better than this.
Yeah.
Skip, I hope it works out well. I really do. But I just have a funny feeling this is not going to go. It's not going to be, I know we're in Hollywood, but we're not going to get that ending.
Yep. I am with Shannon on this one. I got a bad feeling for both the younger kids. Heck, for the moment, I don't have a good feeling about the oldest. But I love your concept, and I'm with your concept. I know European basketball, not maybe the way you do, but I have studied. Look at the products who come out of there, because they start them when they're like 14 or 15, and they make them into grown men. And when they come here, they know how to play, and they're mentally tough. They may not be as talented as some of the NBA players.
But they start out playing that way, Skip. You got to
pure skill. That's what that game
Yes.
is. They teach you how to move without the ball and how to play with the basketball, how to dribble it, how to shoot it, technique. It's all fundamentally as sound as you can get.
Yes.
And when a Ginobili comes over here, he, as crazy as his game can be, it's fundamentally sound and it's mentally tough. So you want to talk about a boot camp, especially for the youngest son? This would be beautiful. I just don't know if he would last. I don't know.
That's the question.
After he's been so spoiled by his father, how would he take a practice?
Think about this.
Remember Jeremy Tyler?
Yeah.
Was a great high school player, one of the top players in the country, 6'10", skipped his senior year of high school. At least he played his junior year. He goes over to Israel.
Yep.
Only last 10 games. And he was similar. I haven't seen, LaMelo does appear cocky on videotape and all that. Jeremy was like that.
Yep.
He thought he was the man. He only lasted 10 games. Then ended up going to Japan, then had cups of coffee with 3 teams in the NBA. Now he's playing overseas for the rest of his career.
Here's the other problem, and I've talked to several of the players who have tried this route. It is so hard for an American kid to be happy on foreign soil when you've only known our way of life and our food.
Yes.
Because the food is dramatically different.
Yes.
You can't get what you know. And all of a sudden, be it Eastern Europe or Israel or China, it's just hard on those kids that I'm here? Like, this is it?
No question.
Really?
Skip, think about
It's
this.
not fun, man.
The new coach came to Chino and told LaMelo that he couldn't shoot 50 times, and his dad took him out of school. So what happens when the coach over there says, you can't shoot 20 times?
He won't even be playing.
And that's the thing.
Won't even be playing.
Those guys that the Europeans, They grow up playing that way, Skip. You're not having to erase bad habits. He's only played this way, shooting as many times as he wants with no accountability. Now he goes to play over there, and it's like, okay, pass the ball. But he's used to stepping across half court, jacking the ball up. He's in for a Skip. I want this to work out because I don't want people to say, see, I told you, LeVar was going to ruin these kids. Yeah. I don't want it to end like that, but I just don't have a good feeling about this.
And I did see a tweet yesterday afternoon from I think it was one of the Greek coaches, because there had been a rumor that kids were headed there, and he just blasted LeVar on Twitter and said,
it was a Lithuanian team.
It's Lithuania, I'm sorry. And he said, we got openings on our security staff for the kids.
Yep, great. It will the only chance it has of working is if LeVar just
he can't.
I know. That's if he can't, it will not work. And his, like you said yesterday, when the going gets tough, he's taught him quit. It's gonna get tough over there for both of them, but especially for the younger kids.
He saw right here. What did he say when Lonzo went to the Lakers? I'm done. He said when Lonzo went to UCLA, ask Steve Alford. I didn't say nothing. I wasn't around. Now he's at the Lakers, and every time he ain't missed a beat. Yeah. So that's who he is. The pullback. He can't.
Yep. And to me, bottom line on the middle son, it's UCLA. It's a great education. It's really a good school. And if you stayed, he's a 4-year college player. You might turn into Jay Crowder at UCLA, but you have to let him be. You just have to let him find his way, because he probably wasn't going to play a whole lot this year, and then as a sophomore.
Or the next.
Great point. Yeah. Here's what's happening with LeVar. At this stage, unless his players, including Lonzo, are stars, they won't be in the NBA. Because if they're just pretty good, like they're good enough to be in the league.
Right.
But not stars, not difference makers. Teams are going to be like, it's not worth it. Yeah, it's not worth the headache.
Yeah. I mean, control is an illusion, right? And LeVar has created this idea that he is in control of everything that's happening here, and he's just going to run into a wall where they're like, we don't care.
We good.
Yeah. Chris, thanks for joining us.
No mercy.
There'll be an NFC showdown here in LA on Sunday. It all starts with Fox NFL Sunday, live from the LA Coliseum. Then the Rams host the Eagles.
Here we go. This is it. Now we decide.
Wait. First of all, we're not talking about the Cowboys this morning?
I'm sure that they will work their way
I'm sure they'll work their
way.
Yeah, Friday.
I got a key word for him. He's going to work his way in.
Out of sight, out of mind.
You want to sneak up on somebody, huh?
Good morning.
Right.
Good. My turn.
Yes. What is your prediction for Sunday?
Yeah. What is
first of all, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it will be a slugfest. When you look at these two quarterbacks, Jared Goff is 244 passes, completed 244 passes, 62% completion rate. 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wentz is 399 passes, a few more passes, 61% completion rate. 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So they're pretty much the same. I think the offenses are pretty accurate about the same. I think, if you go to receivers, we're missing Robert Woods. I think our offense is not as crisp with Robert Woods missing, but we still have a very good offense. We can still move the football. Their offense, on the other hand, they're possibly going to miss their tight end, Ertz. So that's big for them because I know Carson Wentz likes to throw to him quite a bit.
He does.
I think one factor is, I think now you will see possibly that they will miss Peters, the offensive tackle, their left tackle, because this is a good defensive front. Just like last week they played a good defensive front in Seattle, they will see a very good defensive front. Now you'll see how good this offensive line really is. But what do I think will happen in the game? I really think that we'll win the game. I think I'm gonna go with 27-21. I got more bullet points. I want to see what you guys say because I know what you have to say. I know you Pennsylvania, so I know you saying MVP. And the thing is
I'm
that
a better fifth of BSOP.
I bet.
You walk out there, run it.
I'll take
Done.
I'll take
run it.
I'll take the bet. So I'm gonna go with the Rams, and I'm gonna wait and see what you guys have to say. And I got some more.
Go ahead, Skip.
So,
No,
go
you
ahead.
go.
No,
I want to hear what you have to say.
I ain't got nothing. Go
Are you
ahead.
down on?
No, I already got my bet. That's what I wanted to make. So I want you to go.
Now it's Wentz upon a time.
No, walk it to him. You will see again. Walk it to
You know
it.
what it is? It's fumble it to him, win. You know what?
Okay,
I
you
know.
key and now, Skip.
I'm not keying. I'm just warning you that the team that's been flying high is in for it. This is the game I said for weeks they're going to lose, because when I look at what's happened so far, what has Philly really done this year? What have they accomplished? Show me what they've actually done.
Win.
So they went to the Chargers and won, which now sounds really good. The Chargers were 0-3 when they went there and made them 0-4, 26-24. They barely won. Remember, they had a big night. That was a Thursday night at Carolina.
Yeah.
And Carolina's previous home game had been a 34-13 loss to the New Orleans Saints. So am I going to say that was a great win that night? And Philly goes to Dallas and beats the Cowboys without Zeke or Sean Lee. Okay, big deal? No big deal. It's no big deal. And I look at what your team has done. There's some impressive wins in here, because they did go to Dallas and win with Zeke was there. He was there. No Sean Lee, but Zeke was there.
No Sean Lee in the second half.
No, he was there.
Yeah, he started, but he got injured. He hurt his hamstring in that game.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he missed the whole game.
Yeah, he missed whole game. So the Rams went to Jacksonville and won. Nobody saw it, it just sort of came and went. But 27-17 at Jacksonville is impressive. To beat New Orleans at home is impressive. You had Seattle beaten, and your little young receiver just didn't come up with it in the end zone. You got to make that catch, but you had him on the ropes, right?
Yep.
And you did beat Arizona twice, which I give you credit for, because I don't think it's that easy to go to Arizona and win as they did last Sunday. So this is a good football team that is really kind of the flip side of what Wentz in a lifetime is doing, because this team lives and dies more with the pass than the Eagles do. The Eagles have the second best rushing offense in football. So they pound the rock. And the Rams are only 14th in rushing, even though you say Todd Gurley is making a case that he's the best running back.
No,
so
the best running back, is Pittsburgh.
yeah, okay, all right, well that's fine. But the Eagles have, they're second in rushing. So the Rams throw it more and throw it a little better than Wentz has thrown it so far. And that's no knock on Wentz. That's just saying Jared Goff is having a year. Came from nowhere. We just talked about it the last segment. Bust last year, just written off. New coach. New life.
Coach was suppressing what he could do.
Yeah. So to me, the public is seeing it too, because the Eagles opened as a 2.5-point favorite at the Coliseum against the Rams. And now it's been bet completely the other way. It's a 5-point swing, because now the Rams are a 2.5-point home favorite. So the betting public is heavy on the home team here. Heavy, big, wild swing. And so am I. I think the Rams are going to win this by a touchdown. I'll wait until tomorrow to give my exact score, but it's going to be convincing.
But the question, Skip, is do you believe, because I believe that a defensive line of Philly with Cox and Barnett and Jernigan and those guys, I believe Graham will get after Jared Goff.
They better.
Do you believe he can get out of some of the things that Russell Wilson got out of?
Nope. But he doesn't do that.
Well, if he throws that ball, they're coming to get him. Now, they knew Seattle couldn't run the football. Russell was he's their only running game. The Rams do have Todd Gurley. They will try and pound Todd Gurley 14, 20 times to see how that's going. And if it's going fairly well, I can see him getting 25 carries. But if you can't run the football against the Eagles and your quarterback is not mobile, they will hit you multiple times.
I'm not saying he's not mobile, but he certainly isn't Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
Russell. He's got some.
Russell Wilson,
that what he got out of Sunday night, he was the only one that could get out of that. Wentz, I still believe the Eagles are a very, very good football team. And you shouldn't just look at what happened to them on Sunday night. Yeah, they only scored 10 points. They went into that ball game averaging 32. But I believe they bounced back. And I'll give my score tomorrow, but I already got me a bet with my homeboy ED. I would be happy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think the X factor in this football game is something that as a football player, I hated. I didn't like watching. I don't know if you played it or not. Well, we know.
Special teams?
Didn't play special teams.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I cut my teeth.
Special teams.
I was a gunner.
You never played special teams
I didn't.
in your life.
I played special teams in college. I hated special teams.
You did not play special teams in
Skip,
college? Ron Meyer made you play. And by the way,
oh man,
dearly departed. God bless.
My good friend Ron Meyer passed away the day before yesterday, so I'm going to the service there for
good
Saturday.
For you.
But anyway, yes, I did play special. I hated special teams.
As a freshman?
As a freshman, I played special teams.
After you were the number one recruit in the nation and you played special teams?
I'm not buying it. Trust me, I hurt my ankle on special teams.
After all the money they paid you to come down?
Whatever. Matter of fact, they tried to even play special team at the Rams because John Robinson, they called special team, they called my name. I'm like, oh, hell no,
We'll see.
So
There you go.
I just waited, and I walked him. I said, hey, John, I never looked at that special team thing. It's not me. He said, all right, go in. I'm like, okay. But anyway, the X factor here is, I think, is the special team. And, you know, I'm going to go with our kid. We got the best kicker in football.
Yeah,
do.
Zerline.
Greg Zerline.
He's got the biggest leg.
We missed one extra point last week. Missed one field goal all year. I think it was a 30-yarder. He likes them longer. We've got the best punter, Johnny Hecker. He kicked a 70-yarder last week. They've got a rookie kicker, Jake Elliott. You know, special teams is a part where the fans, they don't really think about it until all of a sudden they run a kickoff back, up, punt back. Neither do players.
Or you get one block.
Or you get one block. You're not on special teams. So I believe our special teams, most definitely we got our punt returner, Pharaoh Cooper, I think the best in the league, possibly a Pro Bowler. So to me, special teams, I think, is going to play an underlying win or loss in this football game. For us, I think it's a win because I think our special teams, I wouldn't say I think, I know our special teams are a lot better than the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, but all I care about is you have Sammy Watkins and they don't, because Sammy Watkins is flying.
Yeah, he's playing unbelievable right now. Yeah, I played special teams, and I played them up until after my fourth year, and I was like, nah,
What did you do?
I was on punt return, kick return.
So you ran down?
No, yeah, I was. Yeah.
Make a tackle?
What?
Come on.
I led the Bronx.
Come on, Shannon.
I was second my first year. I led the special teams and tackles my second.
So you can run fast enough to get downfield and make a tackle?
I was L3. I was a gunner on punt.
You was gunner?
Yeah.
He was a 7th round.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of Savannah State, you
Okay,
got to
you had
earn
to
your
be on
way.
special teams.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, so tell me what you think.
You're right. In the special team aspects, you guys have the best. You have Pro Bowl kicker, Pro Bowl punter. You have a great return game. And if it comes down to a special team game, you don't realize the importance because most teams don't dedicate. You got a little small sample. You got like 5-10 minutes to do punt return. It's not like offense and defense where you have 5-6 periods devoted to just offense and just defense. You get one little period to work on field goal one day. You work on, PAT. You work on punt return, stuff like that. But if it comes down to that, yeah, you guys get the advantage. But I just believe that the Eagles will force you guys, will take Todd Gurley away and pin their ears back to get to golf. What concerns me is Quinn against Big V.
Most definitely. I mean, I think that we can run the football adequate enough. I mean, the thing is, in having home field advantage, hopefully, there's a lot of Philadelphia Eagle fans out here. I got to say that. A lot of Eagles fans out here. Hopefully the crowd will become a factor in this football game because I think we really want to run the football. Yeah. When we played the Seattle Seahawks, early in the season, I think the one thing we got away from was running the football. Right. And we can't do it in this football game. You've got to sustain a running game against a good defensive front.
Yeah, and Philly needs to win this game
Hey.
because if they don't, they lose, Minnesota will be 1. The Rams will be 2.
Well, how about just losing back-to-back games in
Back-to-back.
December?
Right.
That's no
I'll
good.
worry about that because
You
we start flocking again because we got the Cowboys on our schedule.
But
so
you
that's
got
a
to
win.
go to the Giants, you got the Raiders, and then
Really
you
the
lose
Giants.
to Dallas.
Really the Giants.
Huh?
Really the Giants.
He left a chip on his shoulder.
And they just named Eli the starter. Ain't no way. I'm sorry. You broke my streak, and now you gonna name me the
So
starter.
he gonna say I'm not gonna start?
I'm not.
Come on.
All right, so Edie has the Rams 27-21. Are you going to get VSOP too? Because you like the fruity drinks with
I like the fruity drinks, yeah.
umbrellas and stuff.
What you want, Johnny Walker?
No, you know what I like?
What?
I like some Manischewitz, some great Manischewitz.
Okay.
That's what I like. But I got it. So,
Johnny Walker is
Skip,
not-
can you do me a favor?
Johnny Walker blue. I want that blue.
I want Skip to do me a favor.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Break it up one more time. Hold on. Can you set up this race between me and this guy
Oh,
right
you're
here?
still doing it.
He's not going to let it go.
I'm not letting this go. People were talking to me about it yesterday. They said
That's
Shannon
what-
can't run you.
That's what you got
Shannon,
upset about.
You said the other day your fast was a 4.5. So you said a 4.5. That means a 4.6 or 4.7.
I was 4.53.
You ran a
I
4.6.
forbid it. It's very hard to get up here on crutches, and I can't have either one of you.
No mercy.
The NFL handed out a number of fines and suspensions from Monday night Steelers-Bengals game. George Iloka was initially suspended 1 game for his hit on Antonio Brown, but it was reduced to just a fine. Juju Smith-Schuster was suspended 1 game for his block and taunting penalty on Vontaze Burfict. Yesterday, Steelers safety Mike Mitchell went on a rant against anyone who questions the physical nature of football.
At the end of the day, this is football. If you want to see flag football, then let's take our pads off. That would make it easier for me because now I don't got to wear heavy. But give us flags for me to pull off because that way I know what we're playing. I signed up to play full-speed contact football, and we're not doing that. I feel like I got to ask a guy, hey, are you ready for me to hit you right now before I hit you? And that's crazy. I'm going to mess around and get hurt trying to protect an offensive player because he's running an over route. Damn it, your quarterback shouldn't have threw that ball messed up. When I was 6 years old watching Charles Woodson, Rod Woodson, Sean Taylor, the hitters, Jack Tatum, that's football. This ain't football. You got to know what the risk is when you sign up. No one wants to be paralyzed. No one wants to have head injuries. These are all things that are negative. But let's not try to turn football into a dangerous, barbaric game. This is for real men. This is a man's game. Ray Lewis said that a couple years ago. I stand by that. It's a man's game. If you want to be a little kid, you don't want to get your shit, then don't come out here because this is for grown men. Straight like that.
We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Ray Lewis. Look at that, a Steelers player giving Ray some love. Did you like what Mitchell had to say?
I think he's saying exactly what a bunch of guys are saying. Like, sooner or later, you know, we have to get away from making this so barbaric of a sport, knowing that we came into this sport with that mentality that this is what you have to do. You have to oppose your will to dethrone whoever it is. And when you think about what they're doing to defenders now don't have a clue how to play football anymore. They don't know what's a good hit no more. Like I told you yesterday, they go to their locker rooms, they go to their meeting rooms, and their players are praising them, their coaches are praising them. But their wallets are being deducted thousands of dollars for doing what we learned how to do to come into this game. And now we have took football as if MMA is not barbaric. We got women in MMA, but we got men playing football, a game of football that has a helmet and shoulder pads on. And we have told guys, oh, you have to give him a chance and he has to be able to make a football move. That's not football. From childhood, you stop what you see can hurt you. And if somebody can hurt you catching a pass, you make sure the ball is coming out. It's only one way to do that, Skip. You deliver a hit that sends a message that says it's not as easy as you think it is. So I think more guys, if you want to, because this is the problem. Nobody says anything until it's them directly. When it's you directly, oh man, how you find me? Nah, the guy last week, you should have spoke up for him too. It's one thing about this league that I think these guys have to do nowadays with all the lawsuits and everything that's coming out. They have to take a hard stand and ask the question, do you want us to play football? Because if you don't want us to play football, then we need to practice the way we practice on Fridays and Saturdays, and that is just skellies and just put flags on them, and let's just play like that.
Do you like what Mike Mitchell had to say? No. I understand that it's frustrating. It's frustrating for a defender to try to play this game now because you aim, the guy see you. I caught the ball for a living, and I knew when I was going to take a hit, I would get low. He might have been aiming to hit me in my chest. I get low. It's a headshot. But the hardest thing for players to realize is that the league is protecting them from themselves. That billion-dollar lawsuit, that didn't change. These implementation of these rules didn't change until that billion-dollar lawsuit. And I said this before, the thing that gets the NFL attention and the owner's attention is what, Skip, when it affects the bottom line. $1 billion affects their bottom line. Because guess what? But we keep hearing they want to play the game tougher and physical, but all they want to do, we need medical marijuana. Why? They're trying to take the headshots out because it's been proven. What we know now, as opposed to what we knew then, football is a mentally, physically, emotional, and a psychological game that's draining on you. And knowing what I know now that I didn't know then, I would still play it.
You would.
But, Skip, you have to evolve. The game of football has evolved. They don't play it the same way in the 30s as the 40s as the 50s. And players, stop talking about how they played in the 60s and 70s because it's never going back there. Because you know why? Because you complain. I know what it's like. And, Ray, you're going to have this. You're going to start going to the Hall of Fame on a regular basis. And you see some of them. You see how they walk. You see how they talk. Some of them don't remember. Forget you, their loved ones. That you can't, football is an inherently dangerous game, but you can try to make it as safe as you possibly can. And they're trying to take the head out of it.
Are you going to be able to make it safe by taking the necks off of
No.
defenders?
No.
Because all I'm saying is you're saying you're going against players who's playing now, saying don't compare what was once created.
Yeah.
But all I'm telling you is the way that these guys are being fined, if you can sit up here and say that these guys are wrong for doing their jobs.
Yeah. I mean, Ray.
That's
Ray,
funny to me.
You remember?
From an offensive player saying that to a defensive player?
I used to get fined for having my jersey untucked. Now you can have your jersey tapered, and it doesn't have to be in your pants.
Right.
The game evolves. You must evolve with it. In MMA, when it first came out, Skip, you could have the guy on the floor and you can knee him in the face. You can't do it now.
Have you ever played defense?
Yes, I played. Not in NFL.
Right.
No.
But so to alter your head, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm altering my head,
Yes.
if I'm coming to hit Shannon and I'm turning my neck,
Right.
who am I putting in danger?
But
I'm asking, who am I putting in danger?
Even when you do that, Ray, when I see you coming, my instinct is I know you coming. And even though you was coming to hit me in my hip or my chest, when I do this, now I get it.
You remember how I used to Bobby Boucher you in practice? And then you used to tell people, no, I'm saying, see, you got to tell what's really going on, so I know why you defend
No,
this.
I'm not. But Ray, that $1 billion and the players now, all they're trying to do, and the hardest thing to do, is to protect a man from himself. And that's what you have to do. And that's not pretty, and I get it, but they must do this, Skip.
This is fascinating. We have two men who are like brothers, and they are diametrically opposed to the very crux of football. Like, this is the core issue. Violent, not violent, barbaric, not barbaric. Where are we heading with this? And people will call me insensitive or callous about this, and obviously I did not play in the National Football League, but I must admit, I am more with you on this. And what Mike Mitchell said was strong. It was Ray Lewis-like. He reminded me, I think he took some pointers from me. He might have watched some Ray videos because he launched on that, and it was some strong stuff, whether you believe it or not. Others like OCU Manura took him to task on I don't know if it was Twitter or just posted it yesterday and said, are players really this dumb? Former players have died and are dying horrible deaths because of head trauma. So he's in the camp of the lawsuit. The 2013, there were 4,500 of your ex-brothers in this league who joined that lawsuit, and it was a $765 million settlement against the National Football League. So that's where it is. But to me, when you started playing, you're not fools, you're smart guys. You knew there was an inherent risk in high school, right? You told me you got knocked out in high school, right? Yeah. It's hard, man. It is a violent game, but it's a great game. Yeah. But it has to be played violently.
Yes.
It's hard to take, as Mike Mitchell just said, the foot out of football, to make it flag football, right?
Because it's collisions. You can't legislate
that. It's just collision,
out.
so you can't take it out. And it's not that fans want barbaric entertainment like Roman entertainment. It's not that.
Right.
It's that you have to be able to play the game at the highest level. And to your point, I go back to, I don't know if you remember this before your time, the great Leroy Jordan, who was the middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys back into the 60s, early 70s, perennial Pro Bowl, all-pro middle linebacker. He once told me, the harder I play, the safer it is for me. When I take it down a notch, if I try not to get hurt, I always get hurt. That's the way you played, and I think you can attest to that. The harder you go, the better it's going to be. And you were just trying to demonstrate, if you turn your head sideways, bad things are going to happen to you.
Because sometimes he turned his head sideways. I'm trying to protect myself. I turn my head sideways. He tried not to put his head in there. I bring my head, and then we collide. He gets fined. I get it. I totally get. Skip, I played this game, and I love the way we played because I think football is all about intimidation. I'm just trying to send you a message in the first quarter that you'll remember in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But we got to evolve. We got to.
But this is where your evolving comes from, and I get it. From a business perspective, you have to evolve, but you cannot keep finding and hurting the people that makes the game great. The players make the game great. Not
are you willing to waive? Are you willing to waive the NFL for any liability moving forward?
From day one, before we got to the NFL, that liability we had already made that step.
No, that's what the $1 billion settlement is.
Well, the $1 billion settlement is to cover everything that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why we have these rules now. Skip, they and Ray, they even made it. They said even a defensive player can be defenseless. That's why Juju got suspended. Before it was only receivers, only offensive players. Now they're saying defensive players can be defenseless. You got to protect the players from themselves because
How do you protect us from ourselves, Shay, when you have Cam Chancellors coming downhill at 240-something pounds, full speed? Physics alone does not allow us to change this game.
No mercy.
Tom Brady erupted on offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels during Sunday's game against the Bills. Brady threw an incomplete pass and apparently was offended after Josh McDaniels told him he missed an open receiver. Odell Beckham Jr. responded to that incident by saying he got his passion for the game from Brady. Yesterday, Odell took it a step further with the Brady comparison. He posted this video on Instagram with clips of Brady yelling and screaming at teammates and coaches taking off his helmet, along with clips of himself doing the exact same thing. His caption for the video was, "Goat chasing." We're joined once again by Ray Lewis. Shannon, I'll start with you, was posting this video, a good move by Odell.
I like the video because he's showing example of how doing very similar actions on the field, showing the very similar emotions to the greatest quarterback of all time, how one is viewed positive and the other is viewed negative. But what Odell doesn't understand, if the people are not already in your camp, there's no way you're going to bring them over there. See, a lot of people, and Ray, you know this, you become accomplished and they say, well, okay, he could do no wrong. You can be wrong because you tell the story of how you, in the Jets game, how you was yelling and Mike Singletary pulled you to the side. Ray Lewis is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's a Super Bowl MVP, gone to 13 Pro Bowls. But he's like, I was wrong in that situation. It's okay to be wrong. Ray Lewis is still just as accomplished. He was just wrong in this instance. I've had no problem saying Odell Beckham Jr., when he was wrong in an instance, he's wrong. I have no problem saying that about Tom Brady, although he's even more accomplished and even greater. He can be wrong. That's my only point. He made a very valid comparison. You look at Tom Brady pulling his helmet off, he's upset. Odell pulling his helmet off, he's upset. It's just how it's viewed through the prism of, well, you know, he's got 5 Super Bowls. I mean, so him being wrong should be beneath him.
Yeah, and so I kind of definitely agree with that because, you know, you take a Odell ran on the sideline and, oh my gosh, for 2-3 weeks they're playing it, you know, all day long. Brady does the same exact thing, and you're like, oh, that's just Tom Brady.
That's competitive
right,
fire.
that's just competitive fire. And it's really the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Like, at the end of the day, both of them are trying to get to the same place, right? And I think just something that always has to be spoken of, Shannon just mentioned that you have to be very careful to compare yourself to the GOAT or GOAT chasing until you actually do something to compare yourself to the GOAT chasing, right? Because Odell right now is one of the best receivers in the game. Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham. So he's in a group of pretty good players. Now you're talking about Tom Brady. You're talking about 2-time MVP, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, 5-time Super Bowl champion, 12-time Pro Bowler. The credibility of what that's built over the years, right? And I kind of said this last night when I was drawing up this, you know, being the best at something is one thing. Being the greatest of all time is a totally different conversation. Does it make it better? Absolutely not. Does it make it fair that Tom Brady can do that and Odell Beckham can do that? Absolutely not. But what happens is you can then put yourself in a position that, like myself, was accomplished, but took what Mike Singletary said to me and said, yes, sir, I get it, coach. And for me as a leader, it forever changed the way that I looked at the game. I don't know if you can, now there are times that I got mad in the game, and there are times that I got, you know, threw my helmet. I did the same thing these guys did. But I think, you know, when Odell starts to talk about these things, then you have to realize your track record will follow you the rest of your life. So everything you do, right? So the playoff game, that you're somewhere else. And let me tell you something Tom Brady did for me. Seriously. If Tom Brady can show you how to play, let me tell you what Tom Brady taught me. Tom Brady, the week before a playoff game, is doing nothing else but sitting in the film room clicking the clicker. And so you know what I did when I got ready to play Tom Brady? I started sitting in the room taking the same clicker, saying, I guarantee you, you think you're going to study me that much, then I'm going to study you as equally as much as you think I'm going to study you. So it's certain things that you take away from great players, right? And one of the things that I took away from him, I guarantee you, that man studies more film than probably anybody. And that's where I started to study more film, because I started to appreciate the only way to beat Tom Brady, the only way to be considered one of the greatest of all time, is you have to find a way to beat them. And I think the video comparison of the outbursts, yeah, cool. But there's a lot else that goes along with being the greatest of all time.
So I have one question for both of you.
Yeah.
Over Tom Brady's 18 seasons, has the emotion that he shows on the field, and no quarterback has ever shown as much emotion as Tom Brady does on a consistent basis, has any of that emotion ever hurt his football team? Has it ever detracted from them winning a football game?
Well, I don't know if we can answer that. Yeah. Can we answer that?
Okay, I'm a big no on this, because it's always positive energy. It's always channeled
How do you know it's
energy.
positive?
Yeah,
Because
right.
you could just see what happens on the field, because he's celebrating or he's angry when his whole team is angry about a call or something that's gone wrong for them. You talked about the game at Carolina on Monday night. Gronkowski got tackled in the end zone, and Brady ran up to the end zone.
That was
Like,
the first
how
guy.
can you?
He's the first guy to get tackled. He's the first
No,
guy
I'm
to miss
just
a call.
saying, but that's
You
team
excuse me?
unifying. Everybody's for Tom Brady to then go after the referee. Is it about him? Is he trying to build a brand? Is he a solo act? No. I have never, in all my years of talking to former Patriots, heard one negative thing about Tom Brady behind closed doors.
I have never heard that about Peyton Manning either.
Okay, well, that's fine, but we're talking about Tom Brady versus Odell right now. We're talking about positive energy versus Odell's what I call, it's too much negative energy. It's team distracting. It's Odell being a solo act where he goes off. It's all about Odell in his game that he's having against Josh Norman, and he just goes completely over the edge and causes a big scene on the sideline because he's in a battle with Odell. Right?
Okay, so let me get this right. So if Odell, so let's just say over the next 10 years, Odell win 3 Super Bowls, it would be okay for him to display the behavior he's displaying now.
Well, again, is it going to be positive to help his team? I just need to know, because I don't see it help his team yet at all.
How was yelling at Tyquan Underwood for running Tyquan Underwood for running the wrong route? How was that team building?
There's no quarterback in the history of this game who hasn't taken some receiver to task for not running the right route. Ben Roethlisberger showed up Antonio Brown in the Monday night game. What are you doing? That's Antonio. He's the best receiver in football.
And it's wrong. Ben Roethlisberger is a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. And that's my point, Skip. I'm not trying. See, you think if I say Tom Brady is wrong at any given moment, that diminishes his greatness and what he's accomplished.
But you keep calling him wrong for 2 incidents. He's had 2 incidents with his coordinator.
Okay, he could be wrong in those.
18 years. He's not wrong, because in both cases, he didn't start it. The coordinator started with him. Wait a second. On Tyquan Underwood, he takes the kid who's going to last 6 games with the team, so he's trying to teach him the ropes of how to run the route. He takes him all the way to the bench and says, this is how you have to run it. And Bill O'Brien is the coordinator at that point, doesn't like it and goes over and says, leave the kid alone. And Tom turns around and says, who the hell are you to tell me to leave him alone? And they get into it, and guess what? It came and it went, and 5 minutes later, they're talking strategy.
Tom Brady ever run a route? So Tyquan Underwood should have said, Brady, this is how you throw this comeback.
Oh, come on.
You
That's just silliness.
Come on.
No.
You gotta relax a little
I just
bit.
think the power of true respect is never to disrespect.
Right.
Okay,
And so all I'm saying is,
Okay,
wherever the situation was, is one thing as a leader
Okay.
that I learned from.
I got you. But
when
remember,
you're out there, Skip, the bottom line is we all are here for one goal.
got it.
I have no problem with anyone
we
getting
all
excited
mean-
on
No,
the
no.
sidelines at all to begin with, but the comparison of Odell and Brady is fine with me in that regard. But to your point, the evidence is that when Brady does that, they win championships because they got the championships. Like,
that's what I
Odell
said.
has to earn the other
gotta
side
earn
of
it,
it. He can be
absolutely.
passionate, but then also you got to
Gotta
win.
earn
Even
it.
earning a championship, you could still be wrong.
Still be wrong.
Sure.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.